Hi, my name is Melissa Reimer. It took me a while to get enough courage to actually make a YouTube channel, but I thought it was really important because there are so many of us that have suffered at the hands of a narcissist. I have a whole series of videos coming out that basically outline the steps I took to not only survive, but to thrive after 7 years of a narcissistic abusive marriage. And I would love to be able to share that with you. So if you would please subscribe and hit that bell so you can be alerted when my next videos come out, I would really appreciate it. Because when you're going through this and you're thinking to yourself, why me? I mean, the thumbnail says everything. Chosen by a narcissist. Absolutely, yes. You were chosen, I was chosen. In fact, we were handpicked. Our narcs knew more details about us before we even knew that we were a target, because they're very deliberate. Narcissists don't do anything casually. They don't wake up one day and go, let me go strolling for a new supply. They have very specific needs to keep themselves happy. And of course, they can't create their own happiness, so they have to suck it from their victims. So the reason you were chosen and that I was chosen is because of what we had, our inner strength, our charm, our charisma, maybe our intelligence, our, who knows, wealth, our aura, our energy, things that attracted people to us is exactly what attracted our narcs. And I know you may not feel like that right now, because I know when I left, I was a shell of who I was before, because that's what they do to you. But who you were before is somebody that you can be now. You just have to believe in yourself. I know when I went through this, literally 7 years of a terrifying abusive marriage, and the second act of domestic violence against me, I had to file a restraining order against him. And the court made me go through domestic violence counseling. And my counselor asked me, Melissa, is he a narcissist? And I did not know what a narcissist was. I mean, today, like half the world is a narcissist. I mean, the terms are being thrown around everywhere, but not all of them are evil and violent. Mine was, yours might be as well. And I told her, I didn't think so, because I thought, isn't that a person that actually falls asleep in the middle of their sentence, or like while they're driving, they just fall asleep in their car? And she actually laughed at me and she said, no, honey, you got your disorders confused. So here is a checklist, and it was 12 common characteristics of narcissism. And she goes, take this home and look at it, read it, and then we'll go over it in the next session. And I said, okay. It was really scary. I mean, I'm like, oh my God, this is written about my narc. I mean, he made like a perfect score. And if you are thinking or wondering or questioning who the monster you're with right now is a narcissist or not, please take a copy of this checklist. It's in the link below. Look at it, go through the questions, because if you are trying to deal with a narcissist like a regular person, they are gonna outmaneuver you, outmanipulate you, outsmart you, and you're gonna be left with your head spinning. It happened so many times to me, I couldn't even believe it. And I would be defending myself. I mean, I literally would be in defense mode when it was something horrific he did that I brought to the forefront. It's all gaslighting, word salad. And aren't those terms hysterical? I mean, we have to deal with these terms now. If you're involved in a narcissistic abusive relationship, hoovering, love bombing, mirroring, gray rock, all of these things that we have to deal with now because of this evilness in people. And it is an evilness, it really is really scary. And when you are in the middle of it, you can't think clearly. I mean, you are just trying to get through the day. And if your narc has decided you were a failure, which ultimately they will, because the person before us was deemed a failure and a burden, and they were discarded. And then we were loved bomb because we were the new supply. And I really do believe, and I could be wrong because I'm not a therapist, but I believe that when a narcissist goes after a new supply and they find it, They believe this is the one, finally, who is going to bring them a lifelong of happiness and love, and they're not going to have to look for anybody else again. The problem with that is no one is that perfect. There is not a human being on the planet that is that perfect, that can supply what I call narc fuel to this person for the rest of your life. I mean, it's impossible and it's exhausting. And when the relationship is finally getting to the point where you're like, I don't know how much more I can take of this. I mean, they've drained you of everything and you are just trying to breathe. You're literally just trying to get through the days, and you're walking on eggshells and tiptoeing around, and you're doing everything not to anger them or throw them into a tantrum, and you're barely surviving. So if you've had enough courage to actually leave, or you have enough courage that you're planning to leave, then you're in a very dangerous spot because you're very vulnerable. You're in a situation where you know there is nothing but leaving that's going to save your life or your family's life. And then you're sitting here going, okay, I left. Now what? Because your narc controlled everything. They're so controlling. So you finally got out, but you're going, what now? And the worst place to be in that situation is desperate, isolated, alone, I'm sure terrified. Because that is when your narc actually can hoover you back. And if you've ever gone back, I did 3 times, then you know what it's like. It's all about punishment. Because they don't have to trick you. They don't have to be that soulmate anymore. They don't have to act those charades. They may have love bombed you to trick you into going back, but once you're back, that mask comes right off. And then it's all about being punished. Punished because you had the audacity to leave them before they decided to completely discard you. Because I promise you, they are out looking for a new supply because we disappointed them. We weren't that perfect person to supply narc fuel endlessly. So, but that doesn't mean they're necessarily done with us. They're going to continue to suck the life out of us until they decide we have nothing left to offer. And when you're in that situation, you cannot think clearly. I know the only thing that saved me from being not mentally and physically destroyed, because believe me, he did that, but he was trying to financially destroy me. And I was the breadwinner. I mean, I had worked my entire life for every single thing that I had. And he was always coming up with these crazy business ideas. I'm investing in these nutbag ideas. And of course, they would always fail, but it was never his fault. It was the client's fault, my fault, whoever's fault. And he could never work for anybody because he was so much smarter than everyone else. So he could never work for someone that was not as smart as he was, but yet he was always unemployed. I know you guys know what I'm talking about there. So I was not going to let him do that. And so honestly, I had to literally go, girl, you better get up and you better realize if you don't fight this man, you will lose everything because he will outsmart you. Because you're shattered and you're hurt and you're thinking, my God, am I going to get through this day? They're not. They are on to the next supply. They're not shattered. They're not hurt. They're not scared. They're not heartbroken. They feel nothing. They can think clearly, but you can't. So the series of videos that I created all address a topic on simple guidance and steps to take to protect yourself financially, because you're not thinking about that. These are things that you can just follow along. You don't have to think about them. Just follow the steps. And then when you recover mentally and physically and emotionally, and you will recover, you won't be financially ruined. Because if once you recover physically, mentally, emotionally, and you're also financially destroyed, that's when you become desperate, because you have to have money. You have to have credit. You have to be able to support yourself and your family. So if I can offer guidance to help you do this, because I did it. I survived and I thrived. And instead of being reactive and always 2 steps behind my narc, I became proactive. And then I was in front and his head was spinning. And I absolutely crucified him in court. And I just feel compelled to share these steps that I took in order to protect myself financially, because that is not what people are thinking about. But my background is the only thing that kept me from being 100% destroyed. And I'd love to offer that with you. So please, like I said, if you would subscribe and hit that bell. The videos will be coming out in a couple days, and maybe some of the topics will resonate with you, and you can actually take that information back and you can do something with it so your life is not financially destroyed. And I just want to say that you are braver than you believe, and you are stronger than you think, and you can go from being a victim to a warrior. I did. In fact, that's my motto, victim to warrior. And I would love to be able to help you do that, because it's not fair. It's not fair what we've had to go through. It's not fair what you're going through right now. And if we could kind of stand together and help each other out, then you know what? We've done something good for another warrior. And I'd love to do that for you. So be safe, please. And I hope to see you on my next video. Thanks for tuning in.